All right, welcome back, everybody. Again, my name is Randy Smith, your VA friendly agent here with Keller Williams Smoky Mountains. Our office is located in Sevierville, Tennessee, and I have the great privilege of working with folks all across East Tennessee. So I'm always happy to help and serve as a resource, even if you're looking in the Knox County area, Blount County, Sevier, Jefferson, Hamlin, Cocke County, Hawkins. I mean, the list goes on. It's crazy. But again, Randy Smith with Keller Williams Smoky Mountains, and joining me again today, my faithful sidekick, Mr. Don Warren with Southwest Funding. Hey, Don, how are you?
I am doing great today, Randy. How are you doing? You seem mellow today.
Well, I am coming back from 2 weeks of back-to-back travel for three different conferences. I'm fighting a little
Uh,
cold, so I apologize there. So yeah, if my energy is a little low,
that's
not me with the I personality from Disc.
that's yeah. You're. I don't think that you could have a low moment on there, but
Oh, I don't know.
it's not
Well,
in public.
right, exactly. So we are going to, you and I chatted a little bit, and the information regarding VA loan myths in terms of what you can or can't do. I don't feel like we could ever talk about that information enough. Because inevitably somebody forgets or they chat with somebody who tells them, well, this is the way that it is, when in fact it isn't. So, let's just kind of dive down that hole again, especially with PCS season upon us. We've got a lot of service personnel getting ready to move.
Absolutely, yeah. It's PCS season is a big time, and these active duty members are looking to move to their next duty stations.
Yeah.
Some are married, some are not on there, but
Right.
it's always still a stressful time and a lot to go through, a lot of things to consider. More so, I think, than just someone needing to do a job transfer or something,
Yeah.
a civilian, because you're generally on a more compressed time.
That's exactly right. And you hit on something there. Sometimes there's a spouse in the picture and sometimes there isn't. And one of the things I would like to go ahead and point out is not only am I a veteran, but I'm also a former military spouse. So I appreciate where those folks are coming from and those unique challenges that are involved with that move. So please know that not only are we here to help support you in regards to your real estate goals with your move, but just to provide information and support in general. Maybe you need details on how to contact the local school board. Maybe you need details on getting children involved in extracurricular activities. Maybe you just need a good day at the spa. you know, Treat yourself to some sort of a relaxing afternoon. We're there to help and provide you resources on that front as well.
Absolutely. We are here to help make your move as easy as possible.
Yes.
On there, it's not just about coming to the new base. It's about what is involved in the community. Listen, there can be just from state to state on there, or just from one area of the state to another area of the state. There could be some
That's right.
culture shock of what is normal, what's not, what type of homes are normal in the area, what are the neighborhoods like, the kids' school, churches involved,
Yep.
just a lot of information that goes into it. So it's not just about let's get you into a house, let's pre-approve you. It's about hooking you up with the right resources, and that goes not just for those going through PCS, but for civilians as well that are
Anybody.
just making a move. There's a lot to that, so it's more about the relationship that you can build. uh, with
Yes.
with your team members, such as
Yep.
yourself, such as me, because we want to make that as easy as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That local knowledge is, man, it's powerful, especially when you've never been to that area or have limited exposure to that area. Your boots on the ground, so to speak, will go a long way. Well,
Absolutely.
good deal. Well, let's just jump in. I'm going to pull this list up that you shared with me, Don. And, like I said, you can't get enough of this information out there, really and truly. So, one of the things that we continue to hear and see in the real estate industry, the real estate side of things, is that we have realtors who still think that the VA, they're saying inspection, when in fact it really is an appraisal, but feel like the VA appraisal is tougher, that it's maybe takes longer, it's more stringent, it has more hoops to go through, when in fact nothing could be further from the truth.
It is not as oftentimes in groups or in the realty world or different places you hear about VA inspectors. Well, VA doesn't have inspectors.
Exactly.
It is, we do encourage everyone to get a home inspection from a home inspector of your choice. So that is important. So you know what you're getting into. It's like buying a used car, buying any car on there. You want to have someone inspect that so you know what you're getting into, because even new has issues. The
Yeah,
same thing with homes. Even new has issues
that's
on
right.
there. And sorry to say it, but sometimes these new homes have more issues because a builder might be trying to cut corners. So you need to have someone in your corner. So whether it is a home that is 80 years old or brand spanking new, anything in between, you want to have a home inspector out there, but that is your choice on there. You have that. VA appraisals, generally an appraisal is needed anytime you're getting a mortgage loan.
Correct. Yes.
You know, that's going to be the general thing
That's
across the board.
standard.
It's standard on there, because the lender doesn't want to lend you any money with if that is not going to be safe, structurally sound, or sanitary. Those are the three main things that an appraiser will look for, as long as legal requirements, easements, a lot of different things that are on the appraisal report. The nice thing about the VA appraisal, that there's three main things with that. One is value, regarding value. If the home looks like it's going to come in, if the appraisal looks like it's going to come in lower than the purchase price, or once it does, there's two options. Appraiser can initiate tidewater, where the listing agent can pull up three comparable sales that will support the value.
Right.
No other loan program has that. You get what you get from the appraiser. They do the report, it's done.
Yep.
If the appraisal amount still comes in low, you have the reconsideration of value that the veteran can request to either get partial or full value of what the appraisal was. Say that the appraisal was came in at 325, but the purchase price was 350. Well, you still, if it's not a negotiated to the 325, then there's going to be money that the veteran has to bring extra to closing. So reconsideration of value is great, because you may get the full extra 25,000, or you may get partial. But even if it's met halfway on there, $12,500 is a lot better than $25,000 uh, on there. So there's that
That's
option.
true.
No other loan program has that. Once again, here's a third thing. Now, first of all, on appraisals, the value, they come in at or above value most of the time. So generally that's not an issue. But also on subject to, generally there's not any issues, but if there are, then an appraiser notes that it needs to be repaired, the veteran can request a waiver of those repairs to still get
Yes.
the closing. The VA may or may not approve that. Most of the time they do. No other loan program has that. Sense a common theme here. So
Yep.
it's extremely important, and it's definitely not any tougher than any other loan. You have those three options that which make it stand far and above the other loans that require an appraisal. So those are key points that we always want to make mention of.
So you had a post recently, and I loved your phrase. You had a graphic, and I forget exactly what the scenario was that you answered on the graphic, but in the text of your post, it said, "Don't FHA my VA."
Absolutely.
I
And
was cracking up because a lender apparently had been guiding or telling a veteran or a military service member that they couldn't do X, Y, or Z, whatever the scenario was, and on a VA, they would have to go FHA. I
right,
love that.
right. And I think in this particular circumstance, and we hear it from time to time on their FHA, if the home is being flipped, generally it has to be in the new owner's name before going under contract for at least 90 days.
Right. Yes.
VA does not have that rule on there. So if a flipper, if someone comes in, buys a home, it's in their name, they get the home done in a week or two or a month, a veteran can buy that. There is no 90-day flip rule like there
Right.
is with FHA. It makes things a lot easier for that circumstance. Why not open up to veterans to be able to buy?
There you go. That's exactly right. And just like on the flip side of that, if you will, once the individual has purchased their home, they are not required to live in that home for 2 years. I know that was one of the things you sent me on the list.
Absolutely. I hear that. That is one thing I don't know where that comes from on there, but I will hear that mentioned so often. And it's not generally it could be some lenders, it could be some realtors on there, but I hear a lot from veterans. And I was at an event this weekend, a yellow ribbon ceremony over in Millington, Tennessee, to welcome back some Guard members who had been on a 10-month deployment, and that that's an awesome thing on there. But I was able to talk to some of those, and one of them brought up about how long do you have to live in the home before you could buy
Right.
another one, and they had heard 2 years, and I was like, no. So this is something that we're always continuing to battle. So every time we get the word out there, generally the rule of thumb is when you sign the documents for the home loan, you're signing for it to be that it is going to be your primary home.
Primary. Yeah.
Generally, anything shorter than about a year, the VA might take a little bit stronger look at when you buy the next home, but there is no requirement to live in it for even a year. There are a lot of circumstances, job transfers, divorce,
Exactly.
getting a larger, hey, we're pregnant with twins.
With twin.
So, getting larger homes. Hey, we have an aging population in a lot of areas now as well. So it may be something as far as I need to bring my parents to live with me,
That's
or
right.
I'm moving to live. So we need a bigger home, or we may seniors may be saying, okay, the kids are out now, let's
I need to
look at
downsize.
downsizing and doing that, but there's no minimum time required. It just has to make sense. There's a lot of reasons why it can make sense.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And, and I can echo everything you have said just based on my own experience in real estate in terms of working with buyers using a VA loan product. I recently have been working with an investor using a conventional loan. The property came in several tens of thousands under purchase price, contracted purchase price. And the appraiser, no matter what we gave for supporting comps, documents, etc., absolutely would not budge. And I know with a VA, we would have gotten somewhere with that.
Right.
We absolutely would have maybe we wouldn't have gotten all the way to purchase price, but we would have made forward progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's one thing about the VA appraisal is that's why those three comps are very important to begin with if Tidewater
Yes.
is initiated, is we don't know whether it actually makes a difference or not. Most of the time it does, it can. And there, a couple of appraisers that I've talked to says, hey, we still didn't get to value, but it did boost up my value some
Right.
on
Yeah.
there. So you got a little bit closer from the get-go by providing the right information.
Exactly. Yep. So what are, oh, I know, here, this is always a good one. The minimum credit score. So Don, is there a minimum credit score for a VA loan?
Absolutely not. That is a that is a lender overlay, and that
Yep,
that can vary on there. There's some that have a 640 minimum credit score. There's
sure.
some that have a 580. There could be various differences, but those are the seem to be the two most common on there. But the VA does not have a minimum credit score. What they're looking at, though, especially if you don't have a strong credit profile,
Hmm.
um, is have you paid what's going to help get you over the line to get that to have that chance at the pre-approval, as long as the income and checks out and closing that checks out,
Right.
is 12 months of on-time payment history for anything that reports to the credit bureau, or if you don't have enough things that report to the credit bureau, then the alternative trade lines such as cell phone bill, internet, utilities, car insurance. There's different things like that that have been an open account in your name for at least 12 months. Housing needs to be 24 months.
Okay. So would somebody in that I don't recall if we've ever chatted about this. So if the individual is currently living either in an apartment or, they're renting from a landlord, for instance, could they receive a letter from that landlord or the apartment community confirming that, rent has been paid consistently on time?
We as the lenders send out a form to the landlord to
Oh,
get
I
that
didn't realize
information.
that.
Yeah, it's just like we do for verification of employment. There's things that we'll
Sure.
get from HR or from wherever on there, but we send out a form to the landlord for that. And listen, there are
Perfect.
some people that don't have any housing expense. That's fine on there. It's just an extra trade line that's needed, which generally is going to be up
Right.
to 3 trade lines, because there's a lot of people that don't use credit. Hey, I don't use credit, so um,
I wish I could say the same, Dawn.
hey, it took a long time to get there. I thank my wife for that one. So, um, but it is, uh, it's absolutely critical to pay the bills on time for at least 12 months. Now, other
Yes.
loan programs, FHA, you can have maybe a couple of late payments within a 12 or 24-month period.
Okay.
You know, conventional, you're generally looking at 3 or 4 years for good, payment history.
Okay.
So there's certain situations. The VA though is the most flexible. There may be a situation where we can get a late payment or two to fly and be okay with
Yeah.
that. And one example is the National Guard unit that was just on deployment for 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to one guy, and he said that he's had probably one or two late payments while he was deployed. Well, that makes sense. There's a
Right.
lot, because of being deployed, it makes it harder to pay things on time. So,
It sure could.
so the VA takes a uh, more well-rounded approach, a common sense approach on a lot of things. How can we tell the stories?
I love it. I love it. And that's
No
so
minimum credit
important.
score, though. No minimum credit score. You can get it. You can get it done.
Outstanding. I love that. So the next two, I think, kind of they play into one another. I think there's a common misconception that the veteran, once they use their VA loan benefit, they can never use it again. And then the next one is that they have to uh, sell the current property that has a VA loan against it and have that paid off in full prior to using their benefit again.
Absolutely. And what I like to say is the VA is not a one and done loan. It's a
Right.
lifetime benefit. Um, Generally, once you earn it, you're not ever going to lose that benefit.
Right.
One possible scenario that I can see is, hey, if you're serving active duty, you buy a home, you've earned it, but then you get booted out on a dishonorable discharge or something, then you could
Right.
possibly lose it then. But if you've served your time, that's one thing about the the VA loan as well is for those who served active duty, it's other than dishonorable
Right.
that can do it. If National Guard or Reserve, it has to be an honorable discharge.
Okay.
So, but there, again, there's the ways to, we let the VA decide what's what on there if you've earned the benefit or not. And there's also ways that if you have something like a general discharge or a dishonorable or something like that, there's ways that you can go through the VA to maybe get that changed on,
Oh,
on there. So there's ways to do that. But once you earn the benefit, you do not ever lose it. You can use it multiple times.
yes.
You can also use it simultaneously with another VA loan.
Yes.
I've had a situation where there was there was already 3 active VA loans that a gentleman had,
Oh, wow.
and we were doing his 4th.
Okay.
So it can be done. The home does not have to be sold, does not have to be paid off to be able to use another loan. Now, if we're looking at restoration of entitlement, that becomes a different, kind of a little different thing on there. To where you could get more cap space basically to buy a larger home. It all depends on whether it's worth it or not. It's all easy enough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that I think you just hit on it. Well, two things that have really stuck out to me for this series. It has to make sense. And as long as it makes sense and questions can be answered, more than likely you're going to get to where you need to be. And, just knowledge is power, right? Having the information and understanding how it benefits you, the borrower, the veteran, the service member, ask questions. And if you are chatting with a lender and something's not making sense, or even if you're chatting with a real estate agent in terms of purchasing or getting ready to sell, and it's not clicking or making sense with what you know to be true, ask the questions. Ask the questions and advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. And you said that you were working with an investor. Let's turn that to a veteran that is
Okay.
looking to build their investment uh, portfolio. So, and we've talked a little bit about this before on that, but what about them buying a single family home or up to a 4 unit home, live
Yep.
in one, rent out the others. That seems like that would be a good way to really have a chance to build some long-term wealth on that.
Yes.
So what are you seeing as far as what homes are selling for their, what they may be paying in mortgage versus what they can, after they live there for a while, what they may be able to get in if they rent it out?
Yeah. So in our area, rentals are still very much in demand and high demand. Even, apartment communities, single family residences, where the owner is the landlord. You're talking about being on a wait list typically for several months. And then even once that your name gets to the top, if you will, most properties, again, I'm thinking about our area, a 2 bedroom, 1 to 2 bath, modest size, say 800 square feet, is renting for every bit of $1,500, if not
Wow.
more. Something that's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, maybe you're thinking about a typical family unit, for instance, where you've got the parents and 2 children, maybe 3 children, those are $2,500 and better.
Wow.
So
So you're more than paying for your mortgage
more often
end
than
up
not,
if you have the mindset of being able to live into a home for a little while. And
right?
this is something that I was just thinking about. We need to do this as a series, is just or do this as a video, just to talk about scenarios like this,
Yeah.
about what you can do. Because I have one National Guard member in East Tennessee that, and I actually have to check in on him, but a buddy of his who's a builder
I
is
checked in with
building.
him today. I'm pretty sure we're thinking of the same person.
Yes, yes, Mr. N. Uh, and his buddy who's a builder is building a duplex for him. So the builder
Yep.
is taking on the risk of the build on that,
Right.
but we already have him, the National Guard member, approved to take on that loan soon as that's ready.
Yep.
So so he's good. He's good to go, because what he has in his mind is he's going to live there for a little bit,
Yep.
rent out the other one, and then he's going to rent out the first one.
There you go. That's right. That's
So,
exactly right.
and what he's doing is thinking of his family, because he wants to leave his family a legacy and
Yes.
and improve on that. It's not just about him; it's about his family.
Yes. And
So
he and I did talk about that. Yeah.
we'll run through some scenarios. I think that'd be a great idea.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. He's excited. I love how you said leave his family, a legacy.
It's it's life changing.
Huge.
Homeowners have I think you may have seen this stat, but homeowners have about 35 times more wealth
Yes.
than renters.
I have seen that. Yeah.
And I look back to go, if I was still renting, where would I be on there? I would have a lot less in the way of assets.
Yeah.
So it is nice having the home paid off because I don't have a rent, I don't have a mortgage
Yeah.
anymore. So just worry about those taxes and insurance every year as far
Woo! That's right.
so,
That's exactly right.
so
Well, good deal. I think we've hit a lot of good information as always, Um, it's important to, I know both you and I and anybody who's passionate about the VA loan and helping our service members and veterans to get into affordable housing and creating that wealth and that legacy for themselves and their families. So as always, we continue to ask you to please like, comment, subscribe, share. Give us your feedback. Please let us know what topics you'd like for us to cover. We're always open for that. And it is my sincere hope that Dawn, you and I will be able to kind of go on the road, if you will, here in the near future and visit some of our National Guard and Army Reserve bases. I'd love to even chat with some ROTC classes, at some of our local universities and colleges.
absolutely.
Yeah.
High schools too, if they, if they have those, and
Yeah.
it's never too early to start planting the seed on there.
Building a good foundation.
There are those few that will buy a home right out of high school.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
So, good for them.
Yep, yep.
Like, Mom, how do I make such and such?
That's right. That's
How do I
exactly right.
boil water? Okay, so,
Yeah.
but, but yes, if anybody would like for us to come out and speak live, or Zoom or whatever we need to do, let's do it. We look forward to helping anybody we can, to where you get your answers to the questions that you have.
That's right. That's right. Fantastic. Well, again, my name is Randy Smith. I am your VA friendly agent with Keller Williams Smoky Mountains here in Sevier County of East Tennessee, and Mr. Don Warren.
Of Southwest Funding, branch manager in Crossville, licensed in Tennessee, but a few other states as well. So
Yep.
and if you're in a state or moving to a state that I'm not licensed in, I know people. I know people that can help
That's
you.
right. We can help you anywhere in the country.
Randy knows agents all across the U.S. that can help you and treat you right.
Yes, 100%. Fantastic. Well, until next time, we'll see you guys then. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.